Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Gory Bits. This is 13 with 13 and I'm your host TJ Bowser. Joining me today is Julia Valenti. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Jordan Harvey.
Yep.
And Peter Anthony.
Correct.
From Friday the 13th Vengeance. You do a cosplay of
Yes,
Jason.
I do the new Jason.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is harvey.cos. It's short for cosplay.
Okay, so first question on 13 with 13. We'll start with Jules. Who are you and who do you play in Friday the 13th Vengeance?
Okay, so I'm Jules Valenti, and I play Deputy Alice Brooker in Friday the 13th Vengeance. She's one of the Wessex County Sheriff deputies in the film.
Okay. Peter, who are you and what do you do in Friday the 13th Vengeance?
Peter Anthony, I play Ken Slate, who's actually the head prisoner in a chain gang in the scene.
That's perfect for you, I'll tell you what.
And what I do for the movie, was that your other question? I'm sorry?
Yeah, you guys are both producers, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, we do like 50 things. But yeah.
So, second question for Jules. How'd you get involved with the project?
Actually, I was talking to Peter about it. So we were sitting down, and he was talking about this movie that he was involved with, and, you know, we both are active in the Friday the 13th community, follow a lot of groups, and I said to Peter, I'm like, well, I know you're involved in Vengeance, how do you think the director would feel if I did an interview with him for FanFest News? And he was just like, absolutely, reach out to Jeremy. And I'm like, all right. So I let Jeremy know, hey, I'm a friend of Peter's. He told me about your group, would you like to do an interview? So we did the interview, and he liked the way I asked questions and stuff like that. He's like, hey, how would you like to be more involved in the project? And I'm like, sure. So I started helping Peter with the marketing, and then got the role as Alice, and became producer. So all thanks to Peter over here.
Peter, how did you get involved?
I was with another project, and then I was in Arizona, actually at a show, Mad Monster. Jason Brooks hit me up because they ran a campaign, but they didn't like the way it came out, so they asked me if I could help. And then same thing, started off marketing. And
Vengeance was named something else. At
Mythos.
Launch. Mythos, okay.
Yeah, it had a Kickstarter, but it didn't hit the goal that they wanted. So then Jason Brooks hit me up and said, can you come on board and help out? And then same with her, started marketing, and then it just goes from there. We started doing multiple things.
Okay, so this question, what's more challenging, acting or producing?
Acting for me is easy.
Okay.
Yeah, producing easy. Well, my role is not really in depth, so yeah.
Yeah, in regards to this, I would say the producing's harder because I'm playing a cop, so I'm a military police officer by day, so it's kind of easy to channel Alice, but producing for sure, there's a lot of elements that go into it, so you could probably talk about that too.
Yeah,
so
nothing
so
goes
much.
right all the time.
Oh, nothing goes right all the time. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was it like to work with the great Steve Dash? Jules.
So I've known Steve for a couple years now. I met him actually at Monster Mania about 4 years ago, and you know when I met him, I guess where I was from, signing stuff, and I'm like, I'm from Philadelphia, and he's like, well, why the hell would you want to be from there? I'm like, well, why would you want to be from New York? He's like, I like you. I'm like, all right. So ever since then, I would visit him at conventions, and at one point in time I was getting deployed, and he sat me down and was just like, let's talk about this for a second. I'm like, okay. He's just like, I just want you to know, I've seen you here, but you have my Facebook, you have my number. I want you to call me and let me know that you're okay when you're where you are. And I'm like, all right. So Peter and I came up with the idea about talking to Steve at Monster Mania about coming to be on board. About coming to be on board for the project. So we sat down, we talked to Steve, we flew down to Florida to film with him, and just being on set with him was one of the more surreal moments of my life, not just because I was thinking about all the projects he was involved in, but thinking about what he did for me personally, you know, being there for me in a very hard time of my life. So it was, short answer, it was one of the most rewarding experiences ever, and I cannot wait for everyone to see his performance as Sheriff Jason Riolotti, so. Sorry.
Very good answer.
Great. I don't share screen time with Steve. Jules does, but just I've known him over the years. I've dealt with him. I've talked to him about coming onto the project at first, and just working with him for the times that we did is just amazing. And we did a documentary that's coming out actually about him that is phenomenal. And they talk about Jules and Jason.
You got any information on that documentary?
It's about 2 weeks. It'll be done. It'll come out. Yeah, Slash and Cast is actually going to release it.
Okay.
Riley from Slash and Cast, but. Just how warming he was to their house. He had them come to their house, stay there 3-4 days. He fed them, drank them. It's just he was like family. He was actually sad to see them go.
Yeah.
So just but as far as working with him, like him with the shirt, and I said this 1,000 times, we never told him to wear the shirt. We gave him a shirt. He'd wear the shirt at every convention, everywhere he goes, every panel he would talk about it. He totally embodied the film and loved it. And it just blew us away how much he was involved.
Excellent. We'll include you in the last 4.
Thank you.
Yeah. God! So, Have either of you got to work with CJ yet?
No, not yet, but
Okay, we'll just talk about experience.
Yeah.
What is your experience with CJ so far?
CJ's my battle buddy, another Army guy, so CJ's fantastic. He's just the most pleasant person in the world. And I went down to Kentucky to see him. He actually signed all our Kickstarter machetes in Kentucky, and that experience, he was just like, he was telling everybody about Vengeance. He's like, this is going to be great. I'm playing Elias Voorhees, Father Knows Best, like this whole thing. So it's been great. And I'm sure, Peter, you could say the same working with CJ.
Yeah, just everything, little projects we asked him to do, things to help out. Like today, we took the picture with him and held the banner and everything. I don't know if you saw that. We posted it.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, just stuff like that. So I don't have a scene with him directly. You do. Yes. But I don't directly with him.
Okay.
But he's great.
Jules, what was it like to be on set? Describe how you felt emotionally.
Well, the only scenes I filmed so far were my scenes with Steve so far. And like I mentioned before, very empowering. The Baker County Sheriff's Department and the Green Cove Springs Police Department were very accommodating. They let us drive their patrol cars and stuff like that for this stuff. So, so it was a great time on set. Jason and Dustin came to Florida with me, and they were fantastic. Dustin's got a perfect eye for cinematography and photography. Jason's just great. So I've had an amazing experience so far, and soon I'll be acting with more people like Peter and a couple other guys. So I'm really looking forward to doing more of those scenes. My partner's played by Ray Hopper, he's a Northwest actor, so I'm looking forward to working with him. Sanaya Lustis, it's going to be a really great time. So a lot of good experiences coming up. So,
what about you?
On set, I don't shoot yet. I shoot March 23rd or March 24th,
okay.
Which is the chain gang scene, which is supposed to be like super iconic, where 12 of us are chained together.
I did see you hyping
side.
that up on social media.
Yeah, and he's supposed to run through us all, and then at the end, it's just me and him facing off.
So
I can't say exactly what happens, but it's pretty badass. Yeah.
So, Jules, what's your biggest acting influence?
My biggest acting influence. Ask Peter the question first, then come back to me.
For me personally, what influences me to act? I don't know. For this project, I don't think of it like that. I just want to get it right. So I just feel like the pressure on us to get it right for Steve and for the film, that's all I'm thinking about right now. I'm not really thinking of my career down the road. I'm just like, let's just get this right and go from there.
Hell yeah. For the fans.
Right.
What's your best story from the set so far?
Not being
Oh, wait, no, you didn't answer my question.
Okay, so my biggest acting influence, I would have to say, I can agree with Peter on that, doing right by Steve, by CJ, by the Fry fan base. I play a cop, like I said, so rights to anybody who puts on that uniform, does their duty. So I want to make sure our uniforms are pristine. We have new patches, the duty belt. It's going to be, it's going to be great. So I would just agree with Peter, the men and women who put that uniform on every day. So
best experience?
Yes. What is your best story or experience from the set so far, or just working on the film in general?
In general, it had to be the party. So we had a big party for the actors and everything in Seattle 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And Steve Jr., Steve's son, flew out with his lovely wife. And the whole event was awesome. But then we released the documentary to the whole crowd. And I actually sat there behind Steve Jr. and right over his shoulder and watched him as he watched it. And it was just amazing, the impact it had on him and everybody there. It was just, you had to be there to experience it. It was great. It made us realize what we're doing it for.
I would say the best part so far of my own set experience was, like I said, I can't talk enough about working with Steve enough, just because of how rewarding that was. But he did nothing but, he knew I was nervous, and he did nothing but make me laugh the entire time leading up to right before the take. Like, he would make me laugh and be like, okay, no, we gotta serious now. Put in game face. But I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm just like, I was really stiff at first, and like, she's like, just relax, it's okay. And he was just really nice. But as far as the film, watching the film come together, has been the best. Like, Peter doing all the stuff with social media and some behind the scenes stuff with the Kickstarter. Jason and Jeremy, doing everything that they do. Just watching this film go from, oh, this is just a little fan film to we're making a Friday movie.
Yes.
So watching it come together as it is has just been so great, So there's so many amazing people on this set.
If I could interject on that, it's like she says, it's like, well, we had this dream, and they're like, okay, well, let's get Steve. Okay, so the bar's like, oh my God, we got Steve, and then it was CJ, and then we're gonna do this. And now we have a party. Now we have this. It just seems like our bar just keeps going higher and higher and higher.
And whenever I describe the project to people, they're like, oh, it's a fan film. I was like, no, there's so much more.
Sorry to cut, but when they invited me to like the page and whatever, I'm like, I'm thinking it's just gonna look like a fan film, and then he said, like CJ started getting involved and Steve, and I'm like, holy shit, this ain't just a fan film. This is a movie.
I feel like it stops being a fan film when the alumni get involved.
Right.
Like I feel like that's.
And then we're building sets.
Yes.
And just things
I
like
did
that.
see
that
the
nobody
set.
else
The
did.
sets looks incredible.
Yeah. And Jason Brooks sent me a video of him in the hawk and the costume. I can't show anybody. Holy cow! It is. I think it's beyond the movies. That's how good it looks. It's phenomenal. So every day we're just blown away.
What was the special effects guy that he used just to do the cast not too long ago? He did a.
Joe Castro.
Joe Castro. Sorry.
Okay. So Jules, how did you get involved with the Real Dash for a Cure?
So that was something I was talking to both Peter and Jason Brooks about. We were just like, we got to do something to do right by Steve, because like Peter mentioned earlier, Steve wore that Vengeance shirt everywhere that he went. And this is something I talked to Steve's son, Steve, and Steve's daughter, Sandy, about. We were talking about, like, Steve's life in general and stuff like that, and what he stood for and everything like that. And I've known a lot of people in my life who succumb to problems from diabetes and stuff like that. And I was talking to Peter and Jason, and I'm like, we got to do like a fundraiser or something like that. They're like, yeah, let's do something. So Corey Kaufman came up with the design that you and Peter are both wearing. The back also says "Real Laddie for Sheriff." Yeah, Peter will demonstrate. Yeah, exactly. So, we gave Corey pictures of the badge, which is what you see here, the badge, and then part 2 Jason, and the diabetes symbol right here, the diabetes symbol here, and the weapons that Jason uses. So Corey did a phenomenal job with that. So I was talking to both of Steve's children about it. I'm like, well, we're going to do this t-shirt sale, and all funds are going to go towards the American Diabetes Association in Steve's name. And another big part about that was, and I know Peter can vouch for this, Steve did not stop talking with the Shriners Children's Hospital the entire time he was doing this thing. So it's like he was putting all this effort into these kids. We would have put something into him also. So the shirts are still on sale. We're going to run the campaign for a while. So anybody who still wants to get this shirt can definitely get that. And like I said, everything's going to the American Diabetes Association in Steve's name. So
you're pretty much along the same lines.
That was her idea. I can't take any credit for that. But yeah, and every time somebody buys a shirt, they send us a picture. We put it on the page. But it hits home a little bit more with me because I have basically somewhat of the same conditions. See, these are compression socks. Mm-hmm. So I've had 37 surgeries. I've had my knees replaced. So I almost died a couple times. I've had filters. I've had clots. I have bad circulation. I get black spots. I get stuff. So I kind of know what he was going. Not to his degree. I'm not saying that, but to what he's going through. So it means a lot to me too. I understand it.
These are more fun questions and uplifting, so you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
God, finally.
So, and this includes Jordan now.
Right.
Jules, who's your favorite final girl from the F13 franchise?
Oh, no contest, Jenny.
Okay. Jordan?
Oh man. I think Whitney.
He prefers being the killer.
Yeah. Whitney from the remake.
Okay.
Tina.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Hard 7.
Jules, favorite Jason kill?
Oh, geez. Okay.
And if you can't pick one, do top 3.
I'll do top 3.
That was quick.
You go first, killer.
All right.
I think.
Well, I'll go my least to my favorite. I know everyone's kind of be like, what? But my least favorite kill is the sleeping bag.
Least favorite?
Yeah, because it's just talked about so much, and it's you just see it over and over again. It's like, come on, no. And my second one would have to be Richard Brooker, where he's standing on the dock and he shoots a spear gun into the girl's eye. And my favorite one is from the remake, where Derek Mears is chasing I forgot what character, but they're running across and he throws the axe and it stabs him in the guy's back.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's still alive screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's using
his bait.
Yeah, he's using. That's why I loved about the remake, that he was more intelligent.
Yeah, I feel like they took that direction because they didn't want to go full on supernatural Jason, but they also wanted to keep like the human aspect, so they created the tunnels and that type of stuff.
And he was athletic.
Yes, very athletic.
Yeah. Same with me. So you're asking me the same question,
yes.
I assume. So in that 2009 remake, I love it. Derek told me how they shot the shot when he jumps off the roof and the camera follows him, lands. He couldn't bend his knees, he said, because he would come out of frame, so he hurt himself. Took the poker, put it through the wall. The wall's a half wall, and the camera rolls through it, through the cop's eye, and back out his head in one shot and one take. That was just blew me away.
That's incredible.
Yeah, amazing. That, the spears kill, and then part 6 with CJ bending the cop backwards over. That was awesome.
Hell yeah. Favorite cosplay, Jules?
I love my Lady Voorhees.
I think everyone loves Lady Voorhees.
That's just like, that's my tribute to Steve. But I also recently started doing a Lady Ghost Rider too, and that's just because I went through Philadelphia wearing her. I sat on the train wearing her. Freaked a lot of people out. It was just really funny. But overall, encompassed, I would have to say Lady Voorhees is probably my favorite to date. So.
Oh man. I have. 2009 is by far.
It looks incredible.
I've worked so hard into that costume. I mean, I would. Like, every time I go to these conventions, I'm like, come on, Derek, come on, Derek, come on, Derek. I'm just like, I swear, I'm just like sitting in my room just like,
where's their
come on,
where's this announcement?
But I'm very excited for a guy that I'm happy to show at the costume contest right there. But we're gonna save it for the costume contest, and I told him that I think it would be better if we just go on as a group to make it more special.
I think we should get a picture of it, and then we can accompany it with the video.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I've only done Savini once, but that was by far my favorite.
That's the only cosplay you do?
I don't have the disposition for it. I get real pissy.
I see. So by default, it's Savini.
But nobody ever did it before, so it was the first time anybody ever did it. It was new, and I loved it, and I made it myself. I created it from scratch, and he knows how it is when you do that.
Yeah.
It's just, it was just awesome.
It was a fantastic costume. I saw it was really, really good.
When I first saw him, I couldn't really see him because I have the one eye. And I'm walking around and I just see the train go, and I'm like, under the mask, and I look and I see him, like, Jesus.
That's how we became friends that day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, last question, Jules, what's your favorite Jason, and who's your favorite Jason?
Oh, man. Well.
It's peer pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. I have like a three-way tie. Like, I can't just pick one. Well, okay. I have to say, I had to pick probably Richard Brooker, because he was my first Jason that I saw because I watched them out of order. The first time I saw it was when I was on a deployment, was part 3. It's the first one we watched and went in order. And Richard Brooker just terrified me with his, like, like the big guy with the padding, like, chasing after these teenagers. Like, oh my god, that was terrifying. Which is also, my character Alice Brooker's named after Richard Brooker, actually.
Oh.
So, we originally had her named Brooks, but we changed it to Brooker. I think it was like an idea between Peter and Jeremy actually that came up with, Richard Brooker, he passed away, he was a Jason, so. It's Richard Brooker followed very, very closely by Steve Dash. They're just like neck and neck, so like they're my two favorites for sure.
Jason Brooks, no, okay.
I like that.
I mean, as I probably obvious, Derek Mears is my favorite Jason.
Yeah, I gotta go with 3 too, just to be honest about it. So it's Steve Dash, and I'm not saying that because it's part of the movie. I live in Connecticut. In Connecticut, not all that happens. So that was shot like 40 minutes from my house, and I've gone to the site and been there, and it's a big deal in Connecticut for all the horror fans because we don't have anything in Connecticut. So we've always loved that. If I have the sack at home, I've worn the sack. Richard Brooker coming out on the dock like that with the traps flaring out. I used to be a bodybuilder and shooting the thing like it's nothing and dropping it, just going to work and walking away.
That gangster walk is so awesome.
The evil precedence he set. And then my good friend Kane Howard, just the athleticism and the stunts and stuff, how he redefined Jason.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for doing this.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely.